So you're a skinny guy and you want to build muscle. But the problem is you're a skinny guy. You're skin and bones. You don't have an ounce of fat on you. You don't have an ounce of muscle, but you're trying your damnedest to build muscle and nothing is working. If that's you, you got to listen to today's podcast and watch today's video because it is totally all about building muscle for skinny guys. So I actually used to know this one guy, and he was such a skinny guy, and he would try to build muscle and do everything possible, and it just nothing was working. And then one day his mom sat him down and she was like, I'm really concerned for you. And he's like, why? What's wrong? She's like, are you anorexic? And he was like so pissed off because of course he's not anorexic. He's just super skinny and genetically he's screwed. Or so he thought. Now here's the thing. If you think that your genetics are holding you back, you are right. But it doesn't mean that you can't overcome those shitty genetics. You definitely can. And that's what I'm going to reveal to you today. And it only really comes down to two simple things. Number one is you need to basically force feed yourself high quality foods. And then number two is you need to work out intelligently to build muscle. So let's cover that first. So with your workouts, all you need to do is just base it on what's working right now for science. Because it really comes down to just giving your muscles enough stimulus, and then on top of that stimulus, giving your body enough calories so that you can grow. So all you really need to do is, the basics. Train each muscle group 2 to 3 times per week. Use longer rest periods. Prioritize exercises so you're doing the most important exercises first. Use compound movements 80% of the time. 20% of the time, isolate your lagging or weak body parts. Did I say longer rest periods, resting 2 to 3 minutes in between sets, and then training to failure, not every set, but not always training shy of failure. You want to have a sweet spot. So I would recommend training to failure maybe on your last set of your most important exercises and using intensity techniques such as drop sets, rest pauses, partials, things like that. That's going to help you build muscle. That's like your foundation of building muscle, and that's what's proven to work, and that's what worked 100 years ago, and that's what's going to work 1,000 years from now, unless we're all like these cyborgs or something. So that covers your workouts. Now we got to talk about force feeding yourself some high quality ingredients. So you're going to be eating 5 to 6 times per day. You're going to have 3 big meals of real food, and then you're going to have 2 to 3 super shakes per day. So the big meals, what you're going to do is you're going to take like a normal size plate, and you're going to look at it and you're going to split it in half on one side and then 2 quarters. So you have 2 quarters and 1 half. In the 1 half of that plate, you're going to fill it up with non-starchy vegetables. Things like peppers, cucumbers, tomatoes, spinach, things like that. Just very light vegetables. And I don't mean light in color, I mean light in eating. And then 1 quarter of your plate is going to be proteins, high quality proteins. So, meat, poultry, beef, eggs, fish, seafood, things like that. That's going to be a quarter of your plate. The other quarter of your plate is going to be some good starchy carbohydrates. So something like potatoes, sweet potatoes, rice, grains, oats, whatever. You're going to have that as your other quarter of your meal. Now on top of this, we're going to have some kind of healthy fat added. So I'd recommend 2 thumbs of healthy fats. So a thumbs up for healthy fats. You're going to use something like olive oil or nuts or avocado, something like that. And then that's going to be the basis of your real food meals. Then you're also going to have 2 to 3 super shakes per day. Now, the cool thing about super shakes is they help you get enough calories so that you can build muscle. And they're a quick way of doing so. So back in 2013, UFC champion George St. Pierre was drinking 2 to 3 super shakes per day in order to sustain his high load of training. So he was taking super shakes just so he didn't lose weight, so he could maintain his weight. But for you, you're not going to be training 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. So you're going to use these super shakes to gain muscle. to have those extra calories and sustain that muscle growth. So here's the basic recipe of a super shake. So if you have something like a magic bullet or even like a blender, you're just going to put all these in the blender and blend it up and drink it. So you're going to put some water. You're going to add a scoop of protein powder. You're going to add a healthy fat such as nuts or nut butter, like peanut butter or something. Then you're going to add some kind of simple vegetable that you're not going to taste. So I recommend just a handful of spinach, and you're not going to taste the spinach at all, I promise. Then you're going to add some kind of fruit. So you're going to want like berries or an apple or a banana, something like that in. And then I think that's it. Oh, and then I would add some ice to make it thicker. Then you're going to blend that up, and then you're just going to drink that 2 to 3 times per day. So here's how I would recommend it setting up, and this is how like a sample day would work for you. So let's say 7 a.m. you have your first meal. Then 3 hours later at 10 a.m. you're going to have your first super shake. Then at 1 p.m. you'll have your second meal. Then at 4 p.m. you'll have your second super shake. Then at 7 p.m. you'll have your third meal. And then at 10 p.m. you could have your last super shake of the day. That's optional though. I would recommend starting out with 2 super shakes, and if you're not gaining weight along with those 3 meals per day, then I would recommend adding a third super shake, and that's going to help you gain the weight. Now, I had a client, his name was Paul, and he was super skinny, and this was the first thing I told him to do was start having super shakes in between his meals, and that helped him gain. Like, he was stuck at about 130 to 135 pounds his whole life. This guy was over 30 years old. So what we did was we started using the workouts that I just described to you based on science, and then we added in the 2 super shakes per day, and then we bumped it up to 3, and then we also had the 3 solid meals per day, and that allowed him to gain about 30, it was really close to 30 pounds in about, I'm going to say 4 months. So this works. And this is a guy who was super skinny, who has never been this heavy in his life. And all we did was just do a few things that are proven to work. So guys, try this out if you're super skinny. I can guarantee you it's going to work. All it takes is some consistency. If you want a workout that's already done for you that works like gangbusters to build muscle, I highly recommend the hybrid muscle cycle. Just search that on jmaxfitness.com and you'll find the page for that. So guys, that's how to build muscle if you're super skinny. I'm Jason Maxwell here from JMax Fitness, and I'll see you guys next time.